Hey everybody, what is up? Sean Hatzel here, the owner of Get Lean in 12 and Stubborn Fat Expert, and I am going live here on Facebook. So if you're scrolling through your feed and you see this, stop by, say hello, drop a comment below, let us know what area of the world that you're from. And if you're interested in looking and feeling younger while quickly losing belly fat, and you're over 35 years old, in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, pay close attention, because inside this video, I'm going to talk about one of the world's biggest diet trends right now, and it's something that I personally use 4 or 5 days of the week to maintain six-pack abs for over 10 years, and I'll show you pictures at the end of this video. Intermittent fasting. And we have a full crash course on this inside our hormone optimization diet manual found inside my over 40 absolution system. So somewhere around this video, you're gonna see a link to click or tap where you can go learn all about that. But don't click it yet, because I wanna talk about the science behind intermittent fasting, and I'll go ahead and post 11 studies below confirming and substantiating these claims. So if you don't understand what intermittent fasting is, let me quickly discuss that first, and then we'll talk about these 11 studies. And I'm not gonna go into detail on all these studies, it's just 11 benefits that you'll get. So if you're a female, intermittent fasting should be about 12 to 14 hours a day, about 5 days of the week. So it's as simple as stop eating at 8 p.m. and then the very next day, you'd break your fast between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. Now, men can push this window out 16 hours, even 18 hours some people can handle. But because of the hormonal differences, I recommend women don't go over 14 hours. So if you're a man and you stop eating at 8 p.m., you go ahead and push your breakfast all the way to noon. Remember, this isn't really breakfast, it's break the fast. So 4 or 5 days of the week, this is what I do. I stop eating around 8 or 9 p.m. and then I break my fast the next day around noon or 1 p.m. And then sometimes if I'm not hungry because I'm in control of my ghrelin levels, which is a hunger hormone, if I'm not hungry, I'll push that out 17, 18 hours a few days of the week. So what this does is it kicks up the body's sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. And one study shows that when your body starts burning fat during this fasted window, it actually uses more belly fat. The second study shows that it can naturally increase growth hormone levels. The third study shows it'll boost your metabolic rate. In fact, people who fasted for 48 hours increase their metabolic rate 11%. I would never recommend that because it's not realistic and you could potentially lose muscle. But it just goes to show you that if you're not eating every 2 or 3 hours, the metabolism does not slow down. In fact, the exact opposite happens, and the science confirms this. Next thing it can do is it can improve insulin sensitivity and fight high blood pressure or high blood sugar. It can reduce inflammation. It can fight cellular aging, which obviously leads to a lot of today's modern health challenges. It can improve heart and brain health. And research shows there's a direct link between intermittent fasting and preventing things like Alzheimer's or reducing the symptoms of Alzheimer's. And then it's even been shown to increase lifespan in rats. So more human studies are needed there, but I firmly believe that when they do the human studies, it's going to show that intermittent fasting does increase lifespan, because think about it. It goes all the way back to the Bible. Now, there are 5 big mistakes that people make when intermittent fasting. The first one is consuming amino acids, and a lot of fitness professionals and bodybuilders will recommend this, and I understand why. Most of those people live so lean year-round that they're putting muscle in jeopardy because their body really doesn't have a lot of fat to burn. But if your goal is to lose belly fat and you have fat to lose, skip the amino acids, because leucine, the primary amino acid that has all the research behind it, has actually been shown to spike insulin. And when insulin is elevated, it takes the body out of a fat-burning environment, and you're more likely to store fat with chronically elevated insulin levels. So skip the amino acids. The next thing that people do that make a mistake when they're intermittent fasting, they think they can throw some creamer in their coffee. Now you could do this and it still mimics fasting, but because that creamer has calories, you're breaking the fast. So I recommend black coffee with stevia. Also, artificial sweeteners, I would stay away from them. Like Splenda has been shown to potentially impact insulin and kill the healthy bacteria in your gut. So stay away from artificial sweeteners and creamers when you fast. The other one is not drinking enough water. See, one of the biggest side effects when you first start fasting, obviously, is hunger, because you're not eating. Now, keep in mind, this will go away after a week or two. and you just need to push through it. When you hear your stomach growl and you're hungry, that's a sign that the body is releasing ghrelin. Ghrelin has been shown to be a precursor to release more growth hormone. So associate this hunger or the growling stomach with benefits instead of thinking that your metabolism is slowing down or you're losing muscle. Just make sure you drink a ton of water, and that will help this. The fourth thing that people do is they don't stay busy enough. If you're sitting around thinking about food and you're not doing anything, it's gonna be awful hard to be in a fasted state. What I find is that skipping breakfast saves me time. I don't like the thought of having to eat 5 or 6 small meals every single day. If you do that and it works for you, great. I just think it's cumbersome. It can be kind of a pain in the butt. I'd rather use intermittent fasting and eat 3 or 4 bigger meals than to have 5, 6, or 7 small meals like a lot of bodybuilders do these days. The other thing is fasting too much. Remember, more is not better. And I touched briefly on this with the hormones of men and women. Now, if you're not a fan of doing this 4 or 5 days of the week, you could go ahead and fast for 24 hours one day a week, and I recommend doing that after a cheat day. So the 24-hour fast has a lot of science behind it too. I just only recommend that you do it once or twice a week, where when you follow the 12 to 14-hour fast for females or the 16 to 18-hour fast for men, this is something that you could do 4 or 5 days of the week because you have a much larger feeding window. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about the 12-minute protocols inside my over 40 absolution system that actually mimic intermittent fasting. So if you engage in the right type of exercise during your fast or when you break your fast, some remarkable things can happen to your hormones. So what I've done is up here on the whiteboard, and I'm gonna try to put this up here. I know we're going live, so I hope I don't lose everybody. So first of all, if you're learning something about intermittent fasting watching this right now, do me a favor and type yes in the comments below. Make sure you stop by and let us know where you're from. Okay, so up here on the whiteboard, I'm gonna talk about how my 12-minute metabolic zone training protocols found inside my system at the link around this video mimics intermittent fasting in some very remarkable ways. Now remember, I'm gonna post 11 studies below this video substantiating these claims. And when you go over to our website, you'll see over 30 studies. So I'm not just making stuff up or making these claims. This is scientific, peer-reviewed, published knowledge and information that you're getting. So first of all, look at 3 hormones over here. We have insulin, we have glucagon, and we have growth hormone. And then I have a column for metabolic zone training and a column for intermittent fasting. And it's pretty remarkable what happens when you combine the 2 of these together. It can really help you quickly lose more belly fat because of the hormonal effect. So first things first is insulin is the body's #1 storage hormone. So a lot of people refer to it as a storage hormone. And what happens is insulin is elevated by food intake in general, but particularly carbohydrates. When you eat carbs by themselves or sugars by themselves, it spikes insulin. That takes the body right out of a fat-burning environment. Well, when you're fasting, guess what? You're not eating, right? So insulin levels are really low. Well, studies show that when you use metabolic zone training, it helps stabilize insulin as well. So they're mimicking each other in those 2 aspects. 2 is glucagon. Glucagon is often referred to as a blood sugar hormone. And what happens is glucagon is responsible for releasing triglycerol from your fat cells into the bloodstream. That's where that triglycerol is converted into free fatty acids and delivered to working muscles to be burned off. So you don't burn fat cells, you shrink them, and this is how you shrink them, is by elevating glucagon levels naturally through metabolic zone training and intermittent fasting. The third hormone is growth hormone. So below this video and over at my website, you'll see studies confirming that when you use my metabolic zone training techniques, and it's just 12 minutes a day, 5 days of the week, found inside my system, along with a crash course on intermittent fasting. When you do this, growth hormone levels can increase 400 to 700%, and it also helps increase adrenaline. You see, when you're in a fasted state or you use the specific movement patterns, intensity levels, and rest periods with my 12-minute metabolic protocols, or you're in a fasted state or both, what ends up happening is the sympathetic nervous system kicks up really high. This is the body's fight or flight response, and it forces the release of adrenaline. Now, adrenaline is kind of like growth hormone. It helps you burn more belly fat. So now you can see how when you're fasting as well, growth hormone has been shown to skyrocket up to 1,200%, some studies show. So it just goes to show you that what happens when you combine metabolic zone training and intermittent fasting together. Now, each of these on their own have amazing health benefits. But when you combine them and create that synergy by using our system, you can take your fat loss to a whole nother level. And this is specifically designed for the hormonal condition of people in their 40s, 50s, or 60s. So click the link somewhere around this video, go over to our website. You'll read all about my 57-year-old wife's inspiring story about how cancer forced her into early menopause. And she accumulated a ton of upper belly fat after the treatments wreaked havoc on her hormones. And you can see her after pictures. After 10 weeks of following these 12-minute metabolic protocols, she had a flatter belly. She was 22 pounds lighter. And here we are this year. She's 57 and I am 46. And people always ask us how we look so much younger than our real age. They're shocked to hear that we're grandparents to 4 beautiful grandkids. Well, guess what? Using metabolic zone training combined with intermittent fasting is one of our secrets. And we'd like to share that with you so that you can get the same benefits that we do. And lastly, and most importantly, it's not about just losing belly fat. It's not about the physical changes. Yes, it's awesome to look in the mirror and feel better about what you see and feel more confident. It's about the changes that happen to every other area of your life. When you engage in the 12-minute metabolic protocols found inside my system and you combine it with intermittent fasting, that discipline that you apply will leak over into every other area of your life. And that's my promise and guarantee to you. If you don't experience amazing benefits in every area of your life, Karen and I know we become better spouses to each other, we're better grandparents and parents, and we're better fitness professionals, and we improve every area of our life by following our metabolic zone training protocols and intermittent fasting together. And I'll give you a 90-day money-back guarantee if you don't experience those same changes. So if you don't experience radical changes in your body and in your life after applying the 12-minute protocols found inside of our system, and after applying my intermittent fasting crash course, I'll give you all your money back because I know it works. You just have to apply yourself. So thanks for watching this. If you learned something, do me a favor, click the like button, share this, drop a comment below if you have questions. We're 12 minutes in. If you're still watching this, you are amazing and I love you because that is a long time to keep somebody's attention on Facebook Live. So thanks again for taking time out of your busy day to check this out and keep going strong.